Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Semi Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Bradley Donner. This evening, our guest is Mr. Matthew Stone from Jamaica. Matthew Stone is a visionary leader in the field of artificial intelligence, AI, and automation with a deep passion for leveraging technology to drive innovation and change. Currently pursuing his PhD in artificial intelligence at the prestigious University of the West Indies, UWI, Matthew's research focuses on cutting-edge AI application in various industries. Matthew is also the founder of the Jamaica Artificial Intelligence Association, a groundbreaking organization that brings together professionals, researchers, and enthusiasts to promote the advancement of AI in Jamaica and beyond. As the CEO of Stone Technologies Limited, a pioneering technology company, Matthew has been at the forefront of developing automated drone technology for the agricultural sector, revolutionizing the way farming is done and making a positive impact on food production. With his keen entrepreneurial spirit, Matthew has also been instrumental in putting together Jamaica's first ever drone light show for the country's 60th independence celebration, showcasing the innovative potential of drones in creative and artistic displays. Matthew Stone's relentless pursuit of excellence in the field of AI, combined with his forward-thinking approach to technology and business, has earned him recognition as a visionary leader in the industry. His work is driving the adoption of advanced technologies and creating positive impacts on industries and communities, positioning him as a trailblazer in the field of AI and automation. Mr. Stone, welcome to the Semi Conversations podcast. What career did you pursue?
Ah, so I mean that has changed over the years. When I was younger, I wanted to be a scientist. I
Uh-huh.
think I got into high school, and closer to the end of my high school years, I think I started to realize what I love. That started when I made my first video game, a mobile app. Just seeing how my friends responded to it, it definitely told me I needed to, you know, be doing some form of, something with software, working on apps or, making solutions essentially, with code. As I came into the university, started doing some more work, with app development, website development, anything with code really. And that sort of transition more into, artificial intelligence, robotics, the hardware side of stuff. I guess you could say that's where most of my time has been spent lately. So mostly as you could say a robotics engineer. But I'd say in terms of a career title, you could call me an entrepreneur because I have several companies. So also helped run a nonprofit, the Jamaica Artificial Intelligence Association. So yeah, I wear many hats. But yeah, mostly around software, robotics, and yeah, being an entrepreneur.
Okay, that's interesting.
Mhm.
Can you describe what's a day in the life of in your job? Like what happens on a daily basis?
Yeah. So, especially working on the current project my startup is working on series robotics. So we're currently, to put it simply, trying to create a drone that picks coconuts. Daily, it's really all about trying to solve a hard problem. From one hard problem to the next. I mean, what we're trying to do, it's not easy. It more or less hasn't been done. And, a lot of it is experimentation. A lot of it is, seeing stuff fail, learning from that, making improvements, a lot of research, so a lot of reading, a lot of time is just simply spent, tinkering with stuff until it works. A lot of my job really involves just tinkering with things until they work. So a lot of time. But yeah, it's fun. I love it.
That's nice to hear. How is STEM or
Mhm.
ICT integrated into your career?
Yeah, so STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, you know, when you're working with robotics, it involves a lot of math, everything from uh the because we work with drones essentially, they how the drone flies, there are mathematical models that determine that the physics involved, so that's a lot of science, the engineering, actually engineering it so that it, does the job efficiently, in the fastest way possible. So there is a lot of science, technology, engineering, and math involved. In terms of ICT, as I mentioned before, one of my companies, we actually do a lot of software development for clients. And yeah, we have to work with all the latest web technologies, mobile app technologies. So yeah, ICT, STEM is totally ingrained with everything that we do. Yeah.
Okay, my next question would be, if you weren't into AI or STEM and ICT, what career would you have chosen?
Yeah, actually, when I was younger, when I was really young, I actually wanted to be a cartoonist. Yeah. So when I was young, I used to actually draw comic books. And yeah, like I used to actually sell them as well. I was really into that. I guess you could say, if I wasn't say into like AI or robotics, probably game development, because early on, that's actually what brought me into this whole thing in the first place. That really stirred up my passion is game development. And yeah, honestly, if I wasn't doing AI robotics, like just yeah, I'd definitely started my own game studio. We actually had attempted that at one point. And who knows, maybe in the future I might actually go back to that. But yeah, probably a game developer.
Okay. My other question would be, what are some requirements to pursue such a career? Many young people would be interested in pursuing a career that has to deal with AI or robotics.
Hmm.
But what would be some requirements that they would need to have to pursue such a career?
Hmm. I would say curiosity. You have to be a person that is curious, meaning you question everything. You don't just accept things as they are. You want to know how things work. You have that sort of passion because to be honest, it might look, sexy on the outside, once the job is done, right? But the actual process of doing it's hard. It takes a lot of time. So you have to be somebody that doesn't give up easily. You have to be determined, focused. It's honestly, it's not so much about being super smart or being a genius or educated. That's false, right? That's a misunderstanding. What really it takes is you have to just have a determined attitude, somebody. You need to be somebody that doesn't give up easily. When you have a goal in mind or a target in mind, you are relentless in essentially achieving that, even if everyone around you is saying, hey, it's not gonna work. Why don't you do something easier? You kind of just have to push past that. Challenge yourself. You challenge yourself to do the hard things. Challenge yourself to do the things that you technically you shouldn't be able to do, right? And don't be afraid to go outside of your box. I mean, so what if you didn't actually do a degree in electronics? I mean, there's YouTube, there's Coursera, there's Kanaka, there's everything. The internet is your oyster. So like, there's literally nothing stopping you from learning whatever skills you need to learn to literally do anything. So yeah, you just have to have that grit, have to have a curious mind, have to be willing to work long hours. And yeah, I mean, eventually, once you stick to something, something should come up. You might not get the final end result, but what most certainly will happen, you will learn something at the end of the day. So I'd say, yeah.
Thank you for that response. My other question would be, how has your career journey been?
Mm-hmm. It's definitely had a lot of ups and downs. When I was younger, I had imagined I'd have you always have these dreams, right? You always have these dreams that by now you'd have this big app that everybody's using with like 100 million users, and you're probably a millionaire by now. But I think what I've learned over the course of my career is everything takes time. Everybody has their own separate timelines. So you can't really look at somebody maybe you saw on the internet, like a Zuckerberg that's what turned a billionaire by the age of 23 or thereabout, and think, oh well, I'm 23 and I'm not a billionaire, so maybe I'm failing at life. That's not true. Like situations are different, circumstances are different, timelines are different. You might achieve something the same or better, but maybe in a different timeline. So yeah, it's definitely had its ups and downs. But I think through it all, I've tried to keep my belief in myself, that belief that, whatever I set my mind to, I can actually achieve it, even if the circumstances don't allow me to. Like, I can find a way. So it's definitely had its ups and downs, definitely had its challenges, but, I'm still going. And honestly, once that's still the case, once I'm still going, then sky's the limit, really. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You always have to believe in yourself and
Mm-hmm.
your dreams, no matter what the circumstances are.
Yeah.
So my other question, besides believing in yourself, how did you overcome challenges you
Mm-hmm.
faced either in your career or at university?
This is a good question. I've kind of drawn on several things. I think for one, you know, one is probably, inspiration, like looking at people that did it before you, knowing what struggles they went through and understanding that, hey, if they did it, if they overcame these challenges, then why can't you? What's really stopping you from doing the same? Um, I guess it really, I mean, I know I say it a lot, but yeah, I mean, it really comes down to that self-belief. Yeah, you're gonna have friends, you're gonna have family members that try to discourage you from living out your dreams. You're gonna have a lot of people trying to give you advice, quote unquote, rational advice. Tell you, why don't you do this, or maybe it's better you do this, or why are you trying to do that? Why not do that? But you kind of really, really have to just have that strong self-belief that, hey, like I can do this. That's really the one thing I've really used to overcome challenges. And also, don't be too hard on yourself. Like if you're doing something, it didn't work out, don't beat yourself up. Like understand that tomorrow is another day, and you can just keep trying. Um, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't try to do everything on your own. Work with people. Work with a team. It makes the whole lot easier when you have people pushing you along, keeping you on the goal and the mission. Yeah, I'd say that's how I overcome challenges.
I like that, you know. Oftentimes, I can relate to myself. I
Hmm.
really don't like asking for help, but sometimes you really do need to ask for help
Yeah,
because you can't do everything alone.
right, exactly.
So my other question would be, how would you know you're successful in your career? Is it money? Is it maybe ensuring your customers are
Hmm.
happy with whatever you created for them? How do you know you're successful?
But back when I was younger, I'd say, oh, probably I'd say money. Um, no, honestly, I'd say it's about value. It's about knowing that you have created something that, either customers or users, whoever you're building a solution for, finds value in it, right? Because I mean, you could make something that makes a lot of money, but in terms of value, it really adds no tangible value to anybody's lives. I think I'd rather know that I've done something that really adds true value to customers or businesses or people's lives than to know that I made a bunch of money doing some random stuff. So yeah, I'd say adding value. That's how I define success.
Okay. What do you think about networking and building relationships within your career? Do you think it's a good thing? It's a bad thing? What do you think about that?
Yeah. When I was younger, I was never really the type of person because I mean I grew up pretty I guess you could say introverted. Not really the one for social settings. So I'd kind of always be the type of person to sort of avoid networking and all that stuff. But honestly, what I've kind of learned, especially as growing older, is it's important. I mean, yeah, sure, I'd rather be working on my projects or working on my drones or whatever. But, having that time, reserving that time to like reach out to your community, um, talk to other people that are in your industry, in your field, and, share ideas. It's very important because when you need that sort of extra boost, extra help to get to that next level, where you can sort of bring a company to that next level, that's where networking really comes into play. And I think that's something I've learned, especially over the last few years, is that it's very important. I think you have to have a balance because you can't be just networking and not working on your products. You have to find a good balance between both. Like make sure you have enough time working on your solution or your product, but at the same time reserving some time to build a network, getting people to know about what you're doing and helping you out, and just forming connections that could be beneficial to your company or your career going forward.
Okay, I love that response.
All
Um, what do you enjoy most about your career?
right. I think what I enjoy the most is The ability to have a picture in your head and to see it in reality. I mean, it could literally just be a dream. Like you're literally dreaming up in your head. And this has happened several times. Like when I come up with an idea for a game, like I'm literally imagining it, picturing it in my head. It doesn't exist, but in my head, in my dreams, it does. And then you go through all that process and then you just see it forming out in reality. It's almost like magic. It's kind of like when I had dreamed of, Jamaica's first drone light show, you know, if you remember the 60th Independence Gala, just seeing the drones form those beautiful images in the sky, even the one with Usain Bolt doing his pose, like all that was in my head, like pictured in my head before it happened. So, I mean, seeing all that in reality, I think that's the most beautiful thing ever. And I would say number two would just be seeing the reactions that people have when they interact or use your product or something that you've built. That's one of the coolest things, especially when they love it or they're super excited about it. Like, yeah, nothing beats that for sure.
Okay, so these are my final two questions.
Yeah.
What does or how did imposter syndrome look like for you, and
Mhm.
how did you deal with it?
Yeah, I have imposter syndrome all the time. If you don't have imposter syndrome, that's a bad thing because it probably means you're not putting yourself in situations to grow. You should always try to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. It's kind of how you grow as a person. It just tells you that yeah, you need to level up. That's it. I think what you learn is that the people around you that maybe you think you're imposing on, or you're thinking maybe you're not as good as, like they're thinking the same thing. Like they're feeling the same imposter syndrome. They're feeling like, hey, maybe I should really be here. Everybody's kind of doing the best they can with what they have. I mean, nobody's perfect. Everybody's kind of just trying to put off their best picture. So I would say don't don't look at somebody and compare what they're showing, right, and judge it based on what you have because you don't know the whole picture. They could literally be feeling the same exact way that you feel. So I'd say just embrace it, embrace the that imposter feeling, because it just means that you're growing, you're putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation. And then from there, you're going to put in the work to feel less like an imposter. And once you feel comfortable, that means it's time now to put yourself in a new situation to feel like an imposter again. So always chase that imposter feeling because it just means that you're continuously leveling up.
Okay, and my final question, what advice would you give to young adults or
Mhm.
young people in general who wish to pursue the same career as you, or at least similar?
Yeah. I'd say one, believe in yourself. Yes, maybe you're in Jamaica. Yes, maybe you're in Trinidad. Yes, maybe you're in a country that maybe doesn't have as much resources as some of these big countries, but so what? Like that should not stop you from trying to do the best you can with what you have. I'd say two, you have to be determined, you have to be relentless. You're going to have failures. Understand that that's just a part of the process. You have to fall in love with the process, not with the goal. Like if you're not in love with the process, you're gonna give up because it may take you years, may take you decades to see the goal, depending on the goal that you're trying to. But you have to fall in love with the process. It's an everyday, step by step, like literally, just take it day by day. Have a goal, set down your tasks, and just try to knock them off day by day. That's just one foot in front of the other. And eventually you're gonna feel like things aren't working out, things just, you feel like an imposter, or you just don't feel like you're made out for whatever you're doing, but that you have to be patient. This is not something that is gonna happen fast or quick. Literally just have to just keep at it until you gain more confidence. Um, and yeah, you gain more skills, and that's how you start to grow as a person. So I'd say, yeah, definitely believe in yourself, and never give up. Never ever give up.
Thank you for that. I like your last piece when you say don't ever give up. Because sometimes, uh, while trying to get to our careers or
Mhm.
while pursuing studies, it can get challenging. But we must
Yeah,
always remain resilient and I mean we can take breaks when we can, but don't give up.
yeah, never give up. Mhm.
All right, thank you, Mr. Stone, for sharing with us tonight.
Yeah,
To our
thanks a lot.
viewers, be sure to follow us on social media, that is on Facebook and Instagram at STEMI.conversations. We're also on a major podcasting sites, that is Anchor, Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, and digital rollout at STEMI Conversations. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. To have a great night.
All right, thanks for having me. Bye.